The other area we're going to talk about is bringing harmony into the home. And I think it can be done. I find that many of our homes are very sad places. It's like a site of contestation and struggle. That very few people can have a conversation without it ending up into an argument. And the kids growing up in that environment is a very, very painful experience. In fact, I know of instances where young people want to get married, not so much because it's a sacred institution, but to escape from the tyranny of this home, right? And I believe that it can, be happier. It can be a place in which you can be yourself, you understand? And do you think it's possible to transform a home to a happier place? Do you think that perhaps we need to do things differently? Or do you think that in some homes it is impossible?
It needs to be worked with. And myself at the moment, I'm a psychotherapist, and I have clients who are females and they're having very serious problems at home, just communicating, not able, out of fear, out of many reasons, as you were saying, because they've had traumatic childhoods. And it's very, very difficult because you work with the client, but the husband doesn't get the therapy that he needs to be able to communicate. And you advise them to go and get a relationship therapist. And it's very difficult because there isn't many Muslim therapists generally, let alone relationship therapist. And they would say that we don't want to go to see non-Muslims. And even if they are, it's private, they can't afford it, and it creates a lot of issues at home, and particularly if there are children at home who are hearing all the time that mummy is feeling suicide and mummy and daddy can't communicate. They live that life, and the chain continues, and this is something very important that we really need to work with within the Muslim community. We need to create a space for them. I know in Saudi they've actually made it part of their legal system in the Sharia law with divorce, that couples have to go for therapy before they actually pursue divorce, and the numbers of divorces have reduced.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
I remember at a workshop that we conducted in one town in South Africa, we had the men sitting on one side and the women on the other side, and I put them into groups, and I asked the question, what 10 things will make you happy at home? And the sisters, the same thing. So there are 4 groups of men and 3 groups of the sisters, or maybe 4 groups of sisters, but 3 anyway. So you will not believe this. The 10 things that the men mentioned, the women never mentioned any of those 10 things. Really, it was quite fascinating, very intriguing. The men were saying things like, when I come home, the food must be ready, right? The kids' homework must be finished, and I'm coming home to relax. I don't want to know about the problems of the school, nothing. And the women were saying things like, I want you to share with me your day, and I want to share with you my day. I would like you to give me a massage, all of those things, right? And the more the nurturing, the feminine, those aspects, right? And I recall that one of the guys that was doing a report back on behalf of the group, he mentioned one point, and he said to his wife, darling, I did not mention this point, This was the group kind of thing. And I found it quite interesting. I don't think we spend enough time understanding what our needs are. We do not understand our spouses. What will make you happy? We never ask these questions. The thing that we are concerned about, we are so self-absorbed, what will make me happy? That a guy might say, or a man might say, or a woman might say, I'm very happy, yet the partner is not happy at all. So I really believe that people can really change if they confront issues and if they communicate, right? It reminds me of a story. One of the things that we do not do enough of is celebrating our families, our spouses. We never do enough of that. We have a particular public persona, and they say, what a nice man he is. So engaging, so compassionate and generous, And the wife says, my gosh, I don't know who you're talking about. Often. And statistically, not so much statistics, psychologists say that the first 5 seconds between a man and a woman are very critical. So when you come home, you must leave your work behind you. And in those first 5 seconds, do not say anything untoward. Be loving and hug each other. Because if anything untoward from your part, you'll suffer the whole night. How I know? My friends told me that. Right. So anyway, now talking about celebrating our spouses, there was this story of 5 couples, and married for 50 odd years, right? And so one of them began to speak to his wife sitting across in a very loving, romantic way. He tells her, "My darling, could you pass the sugar?" And she was blushing. She was so excited. And he went on for a little while. His friend kept on nudging him, telling him, "Please be quiet, please." Because his wife was looking at him, "Why don't you learn something from him?" He even kicked him under the table, did not help. So when the function was over, so he told his friend, "I know you for such a long time, but I did not know you're so romantic." He said, "What do you mean? You're calling your wife Shushu Bablina, my sweetheart?" He said, "To be honest with you, when I was sitting around the table, I completely forgot her name." So you don't know. So you don't know why. Right. And the other important aspect is this, and this is a point. I think it's very important that we spoke about communication and we speak about authentic conversations. And I often do this in my workshop. I'll tell someone, "Okay, let's sit down together." I'll ask the person to tell me, "Idris, you know what? I got a lot of problems." And I'll respond in 2 or 3 ways. Tell me which response you like best from me. First, let us say Yasmin, right? Yasmin tells me, "Idris, I got a lot of problems." I tell Yasmin, "Hey, me too, man. I have a lot of problems." The conversation stops, right? Now, when Yasmin tells me I have a lot of problems, my body language and everything else must show, "Yasmin, what is it that is troubling you?" You know what I'm saying to you? Then I need to listen to her. That makes all the difference. That itself is curative and medicinal because it is cathartic and revealing is healing. If we can understand to do that one thing, listening with empathy, with understanding and compassion. Not always people speak to you because they want advice, but they want to share. Otherwise they implode. And I remember this, and it happened in my home. My father, may Allah bless my father and my mom, may Allah grant them the high status in Jannah, all our parents, inshallah. And after my mother's funeral, 2 or 3 days later, I went home to my town, Poshepson. I said to my father, "Daddy, Daddy, you and I did not know Allah gave us an angel." So my father had his head down. He said to me, "Idris, what can I do? I cannot turn back the clock." And that is a painful reality of many people. Only they say love knows not its own depth except at the hour of parting. And I've seen my father almost visibly die the day my mother died, giving up on life and everything else. And we all have regrets. An important thing is this, that we should make the family, the home, the single most important priority, a critical aspect of your life. If anything in your life becomes an obsession, you're neglecting a very critical area. I tell my wife, I tell the whole world, I do not mind if the whole world is my enemy. Long as my wife, my baby, my Shushu Bobolina regards me as a hero, I'm a man, that's enough for me. Right? That's so important. Because if the home, as I said early on, must be a sanctuary where you can be yourself, where you understand each other, where you support each other emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, where you begin to be able to share. There are many people who say, "I cannot talk to him, I cannot talk to her. He cannot have a conversation. He's caught up in his own world. I'm left all alone." So in the end, what I want to say is this, that there are many things that can be done. We need to also focus on the positives. We must practice forgiveness. We must be able to say, "I'm sorry, darling, I did not mean it." Right? And the other important thing is this, that we as individuals must not only affirm each other, must say, they must know that no matter what happens, I've got someone who will stand by me, will be supportive of me, and will always engage me whenever he has an issue.